Hello, my name is Maddie Frank. I am a children's author, Australian, living in France in a ski resort. And last night we had the Born to Be show. It's a ski and snowboarding spectacular. So all the tourists come together. It's at the Stade de France. So it's at the slalom piste in the center of Plagne Center. And they have huge animation. I'm trying to think of the word in English. Sometimes I've been living in France for 10 years and now I can't think in English sometimes. It happens. Let me think for a second. It is the events people. Anyway, so the people who put on events, good Lord, they have them presenting at the beginning to warm up the audience. They had a raffle. They had this car that if you bought a ticket for €5, you could win this car. I wish I had bought a ticket. I didn't buy a ticket and I regret. I didn't want to lose my space though because there were so many people and I had found a place. You'll see from some of my videos that I got some good footage because I was in the right place. However, if you ever go to a ski show, you must always take the right clothes because you're standing for basically an hour. It was at 7 o'clock at night when it kicked off. You have to arrive half an hour earlier and then it goes for an hour. So it's pretty cold. So by the end of the night, my nose was red, my arms and my hands and my legs, everything was red and cold. But it was so spectacular. I got to see some warm-up jumps.
Les sous à droite et à gauche. Ça, c'est au moins vos infos, vous savez où ils vont. En attendant, un petit échauffement avec les moniteurs de ski de l'ESF de la Grande Plagne.
Et là, le président, comment ça va le président? Ça se passe bien?
Because I was in the right place before the show, they had the warm-up from the équipe d'animation, the entertainers prior to the show. And then they show, it's the Club de Sport, so it's the sports club from La Plagne presenting. So these kids, they were able to show off some of their skills. Then some of them grow up to be ski instructors, some of them grow up to be pisters, some of them grow up to be accountants and doctors and prime ministers, you know? So anyway, this was it last night. I got to see some freestyle. Totally love this.
S'il vous plaît. Magnifique.
Got to see people riding on bikes down the piste.
Regardez la vitesse à laquelle ça va, ils vont tout droit. Ils vont arriver droit devant vous, la Plagne, s'il vous plaît, on les applaudit.
I got to see synchronized skiing, beautiful.
Allez la Plagne, s'il vous plaît, pour la Grenouille, on fait du bruit.
Got to see the skiers when they come down the mountains and they have to ski over the poles that make the powder come up. And I got to see snowboarders. I also got to see the blood wagon, the people who, when you have an accident on the slopes, they have to call the emergencies straight away because the person cannot move, they've broken an arm or broken a leg.
Allez, ils arrivent devant nous, des pisteurs avec des barquettes à l'ancienne, des barquettes nouvelle génération.
They very gently take the person to the cabinet, the medical, the center, the medical, the doctor's office. I cannot speak English anymore. It's crazy. 10 years here and I'm starting to lose it. I'm just becoming lazy. Right, so, and I know what it's like to be taken by the blood wagon because I broke my wrist maybe about 5 years ago. I was working and in fact I really love, I'll come back to this story, I really love seeing this show because all these people that are coming down the mountain and their torchlight descent like this one.
Ils vont maintenant passer devant vous, s'il vous plaît, on les applaudit. On fait du bruit pour les moniteurs de la Plagne.
They're all the ski instructors. So when I first moved to this resort, it's called La Plagne, I worked as a ski school secretary, ski school receptionist for 3 seasons, and so I know a lot of these guys, and it warms my heart. I mean, it's their job, it's what they have to do, but it's so fantastic to see them be able to show the public, the tourists that come, their capabilities. It's very difficult to be a ski instructor. You've got to, it's pretty rigorous. The tests that you have to go through to be able to become a ski instructor, and anybody who works on the sleds, the pisteurs as well. They even, at the end of the night, they had the damers, these guys, the guys that drive the snow plows. They had everybody last night. I was going to tell you a story about... yes. So back to my story about I broke my wrist. So I worked as a ski school receptionist, and part of my job was that if I wanted to join a class, a ski class, I'm Australian, so I don't have a lot of experience with snow. So if I wanted to join a ski class, I could, but I had to do it obviously on my day off or in my lunch hour. And there was this one particular day, the ski instructors, they said to me, do not go out on the snow today. It's icy. Whatever you do, do not go out on the snow. What did I do? I was like, oh, look, there's a beginner snowboard. I've always wanted to learn how to snowboard. I'll just take the beginner snowboard class. I went out, I fell over on the ice, and I broke my wrist. And they were like, and you don't know if you've broken it or whatever. I just knew that I couldn't, that something was very wrong. And the ski instructor, who was my colleague and friend, he's like, try to stand up, and I couldn't stand up. He's like, right, I'm calling the le pisteur. So these are the snow patrollers. Snow patroller comes. He's this skinny guy. I was like, oh my goodness, how is this skinny man going to pull me down a mountain? But this dude was strong, and he had his backpack on, he had his skis, he put me on the blood wagon, and he sort of like wrapped me up a bit. I was like this, lying back, and then we had to ski so slowly. I was so embarrassed because other people are skiing past you, snowboarding past you, people are looking at you. And in Plagne at the time, the medical center was right on the front. It's called Le Front Neige. So there's like a parade of restaurants and shops along the front of the piste, where the pistes start. And so everybody's in their restaurants, sitting out having coffee under the sun, and this pisteur rocks up with me in a blood wagon with my wrist. And I walked into, he took me into the center, the medical center, and the doctor just said to me, how old are you? I told him my age. He's like, it's broken. It's broken. I was like, goodness, he didn't even look at it. He just needed to know how old I was, to know how frail my bones were. Anyway, they took me to the hospital, and I had to stay overnight and have an operation, and it was a complicated one, and it took months to heal. In fact, I think, anyway, there's a few little scars. So when they came skiing down on their displaying how it works, I was clapping the loudest because I have used that service, and they saved me. They saved me. So, what else did they have? They had, and the atmosphere of the ski show was, the guy did a really good job. We had a warm-up session before the show started. They had a guy doing warm-ups. This is this guy here. To get the people, because we have to stand there waiting, everyone's waiting, you want to keep, particularly children, so you really do want to be dressed properly. If I made the wrong choice, I should have double hatted, if that's a word. It's not, I'm inventing it. I should have double scarfed. I didn't. I wore gloves that weren't strong enough, and I did have 2 vests on, but I should have worn my ski jacket. Ski mittens, and had 2 hats on. I should have double hatted. It's not a word. Anyway, they did some great exercise. They did some fun interaction with the audiences where we all had to wave our phones around.
3, 2, 1, c'est parti!
The ambiance was fantastic. The kids were well behaved. Everybody was in a good mood. And what I like is that they're presenting in French. The guy was actually also, because this is how times are changing in France, also doing it in English. So that was really cool. So the international tourists could understand what was going on. So that was really cool. What I like is listening. I'm a bit of a parrot. Like, I think I hear things and I think my subconscious like sucks it in. Something happens, osmosis. And when you go out and you live in a foreign country, every day is like a little lesson. With whether you like it or not, you're going to learn a new word or a new expression, and that was really cool. So last night it was just a lot of, I speak quite well now, but it was still a lot of like magnifique, oh comme c'est beau, oh magnifique, and I like hearing that. And un grand applaudissement, allez-y, applaudissez. I really like that. Expressions of oh bravo, fantastique, love that. So it's really cool. I've got little children around me, kids that are like filming with their parents as well, hearing their expressions. It's a cultural experience. Of course, they have the hot wine vin chaud on sale for the adults, and then the kids can get a choco chaud, hot chocolate. It's just a wonderful show, visually so beautiful to watch. I'm lucky to live in a ski resort. It's on every year. If you get a chance, it's called the Born to Be show. It's presented by the Club de Sport for the children, which is why they get to ski down as well. It's crazy, like these little kids. And these kids are all like my neighbors. They're like the future ski champions of the world. If you get a chance to go to a ski show, whichever country you're in, even if it's cold, take as much as you can, rug up as much as you can. I would recommend that you do take the opportunity. It's so beautiful. And France does everything beautifully. It's all about the beauty, quite frankly, in my experience. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day.
On baisse. Attention tout le monde, préparez-vous. 3, 2, 1, c'est parti. Excellent. Allez tout le monde.